my name's Orla and it's Blue. How are you? Good? Cool. So a few days ago I asked you guys on my Instagram to send me some questions, particularly about being a K-pop stan. Most, if not all, the people who sent me questions are K-pop stans, so there's obviously a kind of bias in the questions asked there. So if you yourself are not a K-pop stan, or if you know someone who's not a K-pop stan and they wanted to ask a question, feel free to ask those in the comments down below. And if you like K-pop and other fan culture, you might as well just subscribe and hit the little bell notification. It's just a fun time on this channel. Okay, so many people asked, how many groups do you stan in general? This is a question I avoid like the hawk, because it could change like all the time. I usually don't unstan any groups, but like there could be more added, and I usually avoid this question like a hawk. So I'm just gonna count how many different groups I have album-wise, and there are more groups that I stan that I don't have any albums of. So I'm just gonna count these ones and see what comes up. What? I just charged you last night. What the fuck? No, I actually didn't, did I? I have 25 written down. There might be more, but we're gonna say 25 for now. I feel like that's a good, nice, even number. What's the best thing about being a K-pop stan? I just like, no, this is just my experience being a stan in general. The word stan, I know, has some controversy around it, but okay. The reason I like it is I like being into something. I like being part of something. I like the feeling that I get. Just as a general statement, it makes me feel good, and that makes me happy. How much sleep do you lose due to looking at something K-pop related? Now, I've never been a good sleeper, and this is me personally. When I was 4, my granddad died, and I went to see him, and he was in the coffin, and everyone was like, look, doesn't he look like he's sleeping? And apparently, I don't remember this, but apparently, like, I was staring at him, and I was, like, right next to the coffin, like, this into it. And my mom didn't think this was a problem at all, but now after that, like, I've always had an obsession with like dead things, and so I haven't been able to sleep well. I never was able to sleep well because I always had this irrational fear as a child that like I was gonna go to sleep and they were gonna bury me, and so I've never had a good amount of sleep. But I'd say I'm better now than I was when I was younger, but I'd say if it wasn't for K-pop, I'd probably be asleep before 12. How much money have you spent on K-pop related things? Now, I did the maths on this the other day. Probably close to €3,000. It was all my own money. And that is all I will say. I earned it. I worked the job. I earned the money. And I bought it. Someone also said, how did it start off? I feel like it's never something that you plan. Like, you don't plan like, I'm going to be a K-pop stan. Or like, you never really plan like, I'm gonna stan this or I'm gonna stan this. It just happens. And so that's why I feel like sometimes people are always like, I'm trying to stan Stray Kids so hard, but I just can't do it. I'm like, that's the problem. You're trying to do it. You just need to relax and just enjoy it. Go along, go with the flow, and see how it goes. Don't force it on yourself. It'll just happen naturally. Favorite boy and girl groups. Favorite boy group? Oh, okay, my alts. Oh my god. But you see, I don't like, there's my top 2 alts. There's like my main alt list, and there's my top two alts. So my top 2 alts are BTS and Stray Kids. So I guess that's what your answer is for boy groups. But there's also other groups that I alt as well. There's my top 2 alts. Then for girl groups, it's twice. What group got you into the K-pop scene? So BTS is what kind of got me to know K-pop, and I thought that I was just gonna stan BTS, but Stray Kids is what got me to be like a multi and like into all different kinds of K-pop. What are some things that bother you in some fandoms? Some things that bother me in some fandoms is that like if it's not a group that you stan, you don't need to talk about it. You don't need to insert yourself into other people's business in a way. And like, I don't like it when a group will go through a hard time and other people will kind of be like, ha 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 ha. It's kind of so childish to me. I hate when people say like there's like rules. That's my main thing. There are no rules to this. There's no right or wrong when it comes to standing a group. The main thing I don't like is gatekeeping and rules, like trying to implement your own, because some people are like, this is how I stan a group, so this is how you should also stan that group. But it's not going to be the same for everybody. Do you feel different after becoming a K-pop stan, or have you changed in any way? I don't think it's been like an immense change. Now, my best friend does say that I'm happier since I've gotten into K-pop, and she just sees a light in me that wasn't there before, because I have something that really makes me happy. So I guess that's a good thing. Hardest thing you find about being a K-pop stan? Keeping up to date with things and feeling pressure to keep up to date with things. Like, if I miss a V Live, it should kind of be like a so what. It shouldn't be like I feel like guilty for missing it. Because it's something that you do for enjoyment. It's not something that you do as like a job. Sometimes it's nearly treated like a job, that you have to keep up with this. You don't. But other than that, there's nothing really hard. Anything that's hard about being a K-pop stan, I inflict on myself. Have you had any friends get into K-pop because they knew you listened to K-pop? No. But I have had a friend kind of get back into it, but not as like into it as I'm into it, but I have had a friend who's like listened to things again because she hadn't listened to them in a while. One second. What K-pop groups did you used to stan? Like, from way back way? Was it Nine Muses? Who did you listen to? I'm just filming a video now, and I want to know which K-pop groups that you used to stan, like, in the early days, because you were, like, so quirky that you listened to it before it was popular. Yet no friends have gotten, like, into it. No, some of my friends have, like, listened to a song or two, but they're not, like, stan the way I am. What's the most common reaction when someone finds out you listen to K-pop? Honestly, nothing. No one cares. I'm not joking. No one cares. They'll be more interested in the fact that I have like 300,000 followers than K-pop. But you see, that's the thing as well. When I was in my summer job, somebody recognized me and they wanted to say hi, and so the people that I was working with were like, oh, like, what do you do on TikTok? And I was like, oh, I talk about K-pop. And they were all like, what? What's that? And I was like, Korean pop music? And it's just like, the interest goes away. They just have no interest in it. And that's understandable. So many people that I know just don't know what it is. So when I say like, yeah, I'm into K-pop, they're just like, oh, okay. How long have you been a K-pop stan? I have been a K-pop stan for 2 years. Kind of 2.5 years. I became a K-pop stan February 10th, 2018. That's when I became a K-pop stan, which is weird because like there was no like comeback at the time. I just got into it. Do you have a favorite photo card? The one that's in the back of my phone right now is Jisung. Is that focusing? It's just too bright. 1 second. Yeah. It's not focusing at all. Oh, wait 1 second. Okay. Oh, this one. This one of Sehun, because it's ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe that this was approved. I look like a Karen right now. This was approved! I just think that it's so funny and cute. This one of Taehyung, because he's in his pajamas and it's cute. Nine Muses. Okay, Jess watched Nine Muses. Wait a second. I watched the Nine Muses of Star Empire documentary, and I got obsessed with them. And then all of K-pop for like IDK a year or two. I said IDK. And then I started getting into BTS and Mamamoo. Lost interest, but still like it. Oh, Big Bang. Nine Muses, Big Bang, and Mamamoo, and a tiny bit of GOT7.
Well, buckle up, because we can do this all night if you need me to get you up to speed on what they were doing. So let me know if you want to watch the 9 Muses of Star Empire documentary with me, because you can watch it on this thing called My Circle. It works like I'm seeing some Skittles, because you can watch it like Netflix Party. It's not on Netflix anymore. But you can do it with YouTube videos. Let's do that, please.
Hardest group to stan. The hardest group for me to stan, for an odd reason, EXO. I like EXO and I do listen to them a lot and I have some of their albums and I would consider myself like, I definitely like this group. I just, for some reason, found them difficult to stand. How long did it take until you openly said you enjoyed K-pop? Probably about 2 months. Who is the boys' bias? Sorry, I'm curious. Don't be sorry. Curiosity is not something to be sorry about, my love. The boys' bias is Changmin, otherwise known as Q. My bias record is Jacob, but it's kind of like a double bias situation. Any group that has more than like 10 members, I usually double bias. When did you become a stay? I became a stay a week after their debut. Because somebody asked me to check them out and then I was like, yeah, I'll check them out. And then I was like, oh my god, I love them. Favorite thing about Stray Kids, I just, for some reason, feel like when I'm listening to Stray Kids and when I'm consuming Stray Kids content, I feel part of it. I feel like I'm part of Stray Kids, even though I'm not. They make, like, I don't know what it is about Stray Kids, but they make Stay feel so included. And I feel like I admire them so much on like a personal level. It doesn't feel like I'm looking up and like, oh my god. It feels like a friendship. It feels like I know them on like a personal level, even though I don't. And I know I don't know them on a personal level, but I just feel like I'm understood. I feel like, wow, this is what I think I really want to spend a lot of my time on. I really feel like these people understand me even though they don't know me, and it's just a really like important and special feeling. They make me feel so amazing. Are you more of a girl group stan or a boy group stan? I'm definitely more of a boy group stan. That's just how I've always been. Like from a young age, like most of the artists I listened to as a child were all male artists, and so as I grew up, I mainly geared towards male artists, but I do make a conscious effort to listen to female artists, even if I'm not like the biggest stan of them, or like I don't make content about them. And just because I don't make content about someone doesn't mean that I don't stan them. It's just content comes and goes. It just comes into my head. But yeah, I do make a conscious effort to support female artists because I think that that's important, and I think that girl groups face a lot of misogyny in the K-pop industry, and I want to support them for being amazing artists. And I make a conscious effort to be like, if I was in their shoes, I'd want, support. And I feel like females should support females. Okay, 1 second. I was told to open this on camera.
The 9 Muses of Star Empire deserved better.
Okay, I trust you, so I'll take you at your word. Are you ever scared to tell people you like K-pop? No. Certain people, if I'm like sitting down with someone, I'm like, oh, I get along with this person. I think myself and this person could be great friends. I usually do tell them because it is a part of me and you should know that part of me. But it's like, sometimes there's just no reason for me to say it, like in like very casual conversations. With people that I know I'm probably not going to be best friends with, not because like there's anything wrong with that person, but just because, sometimes you just don't mesh. And so it doesn't really like make sense. But no, I definitely don't think that I'm nervous. It's not something that I hype up in my head. I just kind of do it. Hey, I like K-pop. That's a thing about me. It doesn't define me. But that's something that I do talk about often. So if I talk about it, What did you think about K-pop before actually getting into it? I had absolutely zero clue about anything. I was kind of confused about it, and when I was like 16, a girl tried to get me into it, but got me into it in like a really bad way. It was like, oh my god, you need to check out this girl group. There's like all these different members, like there's like so many members. I was like emphasizing on how many members there were, and I don't think it was even like a huge group, like numbers wise. It was Girls' Generation, and they were like, oh, but they also have this one song, and they basically have a fandom that's like basically just centered around this one song. And I was like, so a one-hit wonder. She was explaining it like it was a one-hit wonder, and I was like, this does not sound interesting to me at all. Also, it was at 9 a.m. and you can't get me to do anything at 9 a.m. How do you order albums? So I order all my albums from Kpop Town. That's the one that works the best for me. As an Irish person, as a European citizen, it's the one that works best for me. I know a lot of people use K-Town for you, and that works really well for them. It doesn't really work very well for me. I haven't had great experiences with K-Town for You. Do not like Amazon, but Kpop Town is a good one. But if you're trying to get them to chart in your country, HMV is a good one. Or Amazon if you're American. But I just try to avoid Amazon at all costs. How do you survive when there's a bunch of comebacks? Well, that's kind of like right now. Like we're coming into October and October is like bleh. And how do you survive it? You don't. You just go head first and run. If you had the opportunity to go and see a K-pop concert, which one would you go to? So I've actually been to 2 K-pop concerts. I've been to BTS in 2018 in the O2 in London, and I also saw The Boys last December in London. Luckily, because like 3 months later, everything shut down. I'd love to see Stray Kids, and I was kind of a little bit happy that their concert was cancelled. Like their concerts, like tickets didn't even go on sale for Stray Kids in Europe, but it was like the day before my last scheduled exam, and so I was like, oh, I can't go to it because I have an exam that day. So I was kind of like happy. It's not like one other person couldn't go, like nobody could go, and so we'll all go eventually, and I'm so happy that I hopefully will get to go to that one. So I really want to see Stray Kids. I really would like to see NCT. TXT. I want to see BTS again. I think 17 would be really cool to see a performance of. I think 17 will be quite phenomenal. Do you ever feel like people expect you to be ashamed of being a stan when you're 18 plus? So I'm 22, in case you're wondering. I mean, I think people expect... I think people expect for me to be embarrassed that I'm a K-pop stan, but I'm just not. Like, it's just an interest, you know? Like, I think people kind of look at me like, really? But I'm having a good time. And whether or not they expect me to be ashamed of it, I'm not. So that's the most important thing. Do you feel like you will grow out of it? People ask me this a lot, and I'm curious. No. I've been into it for 2 years, and so it kind of doesn't feel like it'll be like a phase. Because I've never gone into a phase and like gotten out of it. Like One Direction, I still stand One Direction after 10 years. My little emo phase, although like I don't walk around being like, Mom, you don't understand me. I still listen to a lot of that emo music. Have you ever been told you should K-word yourself just because you like K-pop? No. And if anybody ever tells you that, they are absolute garbage, trash. I hate saying those words. They sound so American. Rubbish. Like, honestly, they're not worth the chewing gum on your shoe. Are you planning on getting a K-pop tattoo? I'm personally not really planning on getting any tattoos. Don't have any real desire to get any tattoos. I did really want to get a word tattooed on the inside of my lip that I will not disclose because it is quite no. If I was to get a K-pop tattoo, I wouldn't mind getting something like Stay, or because that could be like really obscure, or okay, I like the idea of getting a Z because for Stray Kids like SKZ, The Boys TBZ, and ATZ, you know, the way like they're all shortened with a Z at the end. So I was like, oh, I get Z. But now that I saw all those like Gen Z tattoos that look like the Nazi symbol, I'm like, maybe not. Because if I just wanted to get a Z, I didn't want to get the line put through it. But if it in any way, shape, or form looks like that, maybe no. I don't think so. Or I really like the idea of, I don't remember what the exact lyric was, but it's like, thank you, 우리가 도와줘서, or something like that from Save Me, the BTS song. You know, and Namjoon goes, thank you, 우리가 도와줘서. And that means like, thank you for being us or something like that. I can't remember the exact translation, but I thought that it was very pretty. But I just don't know. It's very long, you know. I like the idea of having like one single line. I don't like the idea of being boom, 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 you know. I don't know why I put it there. Has there ever been a moment when you've regretted becoming a K-pop fan? No. To be honest, no. Have you ever been excluded or insulted about being a K-pop stan? Not to my face. And if it's not to my face, I don't care. How did you get into standing different groups? I've been trying to stand TXT, but IDK where to start. If you're trying to stand a group, if you want to get into a group, I recommend searching up the group and then episode 1 on YouTube. Just search that up and then you'll find different shows that they've done. And that's how you can get to know them as a person, personality-wise. And then I just recommend going to Spotify and listening to their music, maybe watching some of their music videos. Take it chill. Don't force it. Do it as you please. But make sure, listen to the music first and make sure the music is what you want to be standing. Because don't just stand the group because you think you have to. Because I know a lot of armies thought they had to stand TXT when you don't. Take your time. Make sure you like the music. Make sure you like the music first and that you're not just standing them for the sake of standing them. Because there's some times where I'm like, there's some fandoms and I'm like, do you even like their music? How do you respond to people, friends who bash on K-pop boys saying that they're gay, makeup, look like girls? I ignore it. Particularly if I feel like they're looking for some kind of reaction, because that's another thing. Some people could think that it's like bullying, but it's like just like in like a banterful way. They're just trying to get some kind of like reaction going and teasing. I just ignore it. Because I kind of know that they're wrong. I'll point it out eventually. And like if it's like very serious, like when someone like pulled back my eye, I'm like, no, don't do that. And then I'll just say like, I'll say something really subtle. So if like they say, all those K-pop boys look like girls, I'll say that's because that's your perception of what a girl looks like. What does a girl even look like? How do you know that's a girl? What about it makes them a girl? And I'll just say also they have different beauty standards and it's not your place to judge that. Okay, so at some point that stopped recording. I don't know when, so we'll figure it out as we go along. Hiya, how do you feel about traveling to concerts? I hate it a majority of the time. I don't mind. I quite enjoy it. The only part of it I don't like is that I have to spend loads of money to travel. Anytime I go to a K-pop concert, I have to travel. I am from Dublin. They don't really come here. So I have to travel to London. London isn't the most expensive place to travel to. Like, I'll probably get a flight for about €100. And I'd probably get it for cheaper if I did it better. But my cousin really likes flying on British Airways. How can I stop feeling like I discovered this world too late? Hi from Peru. Hi, Peru. You can't change the past. So like, even if you do feel like you joined it too late, you're not. You're here now, and that's what's important. And you can't change the past. You can't go back into the past and make yourself like it at an earlier stage. It happened when it happened, and you're here now. Make the most of it. Any YN moments, any your name moments. I'd say I've never had like a YN moment. Oh, when Tio or 2 liked my comment on TikTok, I was like, blah. Oh my god. I know it's hurt like their manager, but I was still like, ha 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 ha. Oh. When Felix posted that thing on Instagram where it was like, Felix knows what's going on TikTok or something like that. I can't remember what the exact caption was. But yeah, in that moment, I felt like, he knows. Yeah, that's what, hashtag Stray Kids, hashtag stay, hashtag Felix Sunshine, hashtag knows, hashtag what's, hashtag going, hashtag on, hashtag TikTok. And I just felt seen in that moment. Like, I felt like, oh, he knows. Like, I don't mind if he sees any of my content. I'm just like, he knows. Oh, how would you feel if Felix was your long lost brother you didn't know about? That's a cute question to go after that. Oh, I'd give him the biggest hug. I'd just give him the biggest hug and the biggest squish. And I'd also wonder, like, how am I white and you're Korean? Obviously, you're saying, like, if that wasn't a thing. But, oh, I'd just give him the biggest hug. The biggest squish and then I'd kiss his cheek. Do you get looked down on for listening to music that's not from your native language? Not for that specific reason, for K-pop, and then a lot of people like look at me like, how do you have a music degree and like K-pop? And I'm like, if I have a music degree, shouldn't that tell you something? Like my lecturers and my professors who knew that I like K-pop, like they weren't like, Orly, you can't do that. That's so weird. Like my music professors were just like, okay, I sang a song in Korean for a practical, and the topic of K-pop and how its validity was never brought up because my music professors and music lecturers didn't need to prove that they knew about music and that they knew good music. They had decades worth of education and qualifications to back themselves. You know, people usually bring down K-pop to bring themselves up, but the professionals didn't need to do that because they didn't need to prove themselves in their music knowledge. Are you mentally prepared for Stray Kids world domination? I'm gonna be there with them all the way, every single step of the way, and they own my heart. They own my heart. And so I am ready, but I'm not ready to I'm not ready to let go of their hand. I feel like I'm their mammy and I'm holding their hands right now. I'm like, just be safe, please. Please be safe right now. When people ask why I like K-pop, I don't really have a good answer. Any good answers? No. Honestly, no. But why do you like pop? Why do you like Billie Eilish? You like her music. You vibe with her. Cool. Same. That's it. What is the worst assumption anyone has said to you when you said you were a K-pop stan? This isn't something that happened directly after, but I remember I was seeing this guy once. I don't know how to describe it. And he was like, "Are you okay with the fact that I'm white?" And I was like, it just seemed so ridiculous. If I'm showing interest in you, I'm literally kissing you. Of course I'm okay with the fact that you're white. I'm never gonna not be okay with dating someone because of their race. Is that the right way to say it? I'm never gonna not be okay with dating someone because of their race. Why? Yes, you're white. I have an interest in you, not because of your race, but because of you as a person. And so that kind of offended me a little bit because I was like, do you think I just like K-pop because I want to get into their pants? Because I know I'm not getting into any of their pants. So I have an interest in you as a person. Please don't think that I would only like someone because of their race. That sounds so stupid. Is it normal to not like a song from your alt group? Of course. Normalize not liking certain songs. It's okay. If you dislike a lot of them, I'd be like, are you sure they're your alt? But if it's one or two songs, depending on how big their discography is, it's okay. If one of your biases asks you out on a date, would you say yes or no? If yes, where will it be and why? It would depend on if obviously they would have to know me in person. I'd have to be talking to them in person. It would depend on if I was really interested in them as a person. I would need to be interested in this person as a person, not as a person I'm a fan of, you know? And if it was a yes, just a picnic. How does it feel being the mother of all... How does it feel being the mother of Stays and Stray Kids? I don't feel like I'm the mother of Stays, but thank you for that nice gesture. I do feel like a mother of Stray Kids, even though I'm younger than Bangchan. Bangchan's the only person I'm younger than. I'm the same age as Minho. I'm just older than him month-wise. I'm very protective over them. I'm very protective over there. I just want them to be safe. I really just want them to be safe and happy and loved. So it's actually the next day. My camera died yesterday and so I had to stop filming, but I did get through most of the questions and a lot of them were repeating and I feel like I have a lot of footage, so I'm gonna have a lot of fun editing that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to turn on post notifications. Remember, you say genius, I think Min Yoongi. All my socials will be linked down below and I'll see you when I see you. Okay, bye!